So that guy's drying enough that I feel confident I can come in and do some additional things here, and it won't. Tipping it around isn't gonna. It's not all the way dry, but tipping it around is not gonna change or make the paint pool in a different sort of place. So I'm gonna make this this circle in the right one darker. I'm still going to use my number 12 round. A general rule of thumb for what size brush to use is to use as large a brush as you can and still maintain some sort of control. The point of that is that if you start using too small of a brush and too large of a space, there's a tendency to start swiping back and forth and making it look overworked and creating a bunch of stripes. So that's a lot of a bit more water in that shape. It will certainly dry, but while it's now I'm making value judgments on the call. This is part of the whole process, and it's something that takes a decent amount of practice. I'm trying to kind of make this darker, not as dark as that. I thought maybe if it was really dark, that would be kind of cool. But now that I look at it a little bit more, I think I want it sort of in between that one and this one. It probably was, but I did want to make sure it was a little bit darker, and I wanted to sort of see what it looked like if it got really dark. I mean, a lot darker than it already was. So I'm just adding a little bit of water. It's wet, so I can I don't want to add too much. I'm going to do a little back and forth here. That's there's a push and a pull is how it's described, and how I like to describe it too, of making something darker, making something else lighter, making a different thing darker or lighter depending on how the overall combination of darks and lights makes you feel. Let's see, the over on this, I'm going to leave it like that. This left one, these guys are a little bit too similar. So I want to, I think I'm going to make this guy a little bit darker. That edge right there is still not all the way dry. And yet I'm about to try to paint adjacent to it. What I can try to do is just go up just to the edge. I might try to clean it off a little bit more later. So now that value is looking a little bit too similar to this one. So I'm adding some water. Normally I would have let that dry, but sometimes it's kind of cool to actually leave kind of a white outline around different shapes. Mostly I overlap my shapes a little bit like I'm showing you there. of that sort of background that happened down here. I'm gonna let that dry. I may try to make this guy a little bit darker, but much darker, and it's going to start competing with that. I kind of want everything to have its own, really kind of its own, clearly its own value, darkness. And as we keep moving along and adding more colors, our value range is going to expand because we're going to start adding in paints that can get darker. This quinacridone rose can only get so dark. So I'm going to dry and I'll be right back.